Hey, this is J.J. here, and what I like to do off the field is meditate mostly. Yeah. There you
Right on. Thanks,
go.
Jake.
Have a good one.
Appreciate you. Good luck.
Thank you.
My daughter thinks you're really cute. Can I take a picture?
For sure. Yeah.
She's 17. Thanks.
Tell her I say hello.
Hey, JJ,
Hi.
Nicole Auerbach.
Good to see you
We've
again.
done interviews
Yeah.
for BTN, so I'm here for serious.
Okay.
We'd love to just get like maybe 3 or 4 questions.
Okay.
We need to get it tossed to us.
Good stuff. Awesome.
Okay. All right, yeah, I'm here with JJ right now. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
What's it like to be growing?
Tremendous honor. You know, just all the history behind it. Such a legendary landmark, and to be able to be a part of it, and in the stage that we're on, is truly amazing.
When Alabama's platform was ready and that became your magic, and then you had a month to prepare, what is the focus like for this team, knowing what the tall task ahead?
Utmost focus. You know, it's one of the best teams in the country. It's not like second to the best, and just being able to, you know, go out there every single day and focus on the task at hand and keep things simple, I feel like it's going to be the biggest difference this year compared to last year.
So we talked about this a little bit on Selection Sunday, but you guys have been in this position, and then this has been as far as it's gone. So what needed to change, and how did you guys address that?
I feel like just the preparation going into it, not being exhausted mentally and physically going into the game, and really just executing on all cylinders when the game does come, and not hurting ourselves and leaving no stone unturned.
How are you feeling physically? I mean, I'm sure it's a physical and banged up type
Yeah.
of season.
Extremely great. I mean, 100%. I would say even 110%. So I'll be ready to go.
And where do you guys feel strongest about? Obviously, you love your O-line, you guys
Yeah.
have a run game, you've had great connections with your receivers, tight ends. So where are you feeling most confident?
Just in every single player, every single coach, because the love we have for each other is unique and different, and that's going to be one of the things that, you know, help us win this ball game, is just doing it for each other and going out there and leaving it all out there.
All right, thanks, JJ. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Good seeing you.
JJ, how you doing?
I'm doing
Good to see
great.
you.
How are you? Good to see you
Good.
again, brother.
Is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
Of course.
All right. How's this week of preparation going? I know you guys had practice yesterday. You got
Yeah.
getting in a groove. How's it going?
It's going great. Just attacking, you know, every single day, every single meeting, every single, you know, film study with the coaches or with just, you know, position groups and by yourself. So it's been amazing.
Yeah. I was reading about your preparation in the 963 hertz. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I appreciate
I'm a big
it.
white noise guy myself.
Really?
So I was like,
Great.
oh, that's neat. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try that out sometime.
Yeah, I
Pretty
might.
good. Yeah.
If it works for you, it'll probably work for
No
work
doubt.
for me,
No
but,
doubt.
Yeah. I'm curious, like, we've heard a lot about Zach Zenner being around and stuff. We even heard he's walking, which is crazy considering what he's gone through, testament to his work and his grit. But I'm curious, like, what does that do for you guys when you see him with you guys every step of the way, still involved after going through what he did? Like,
It just reassures us, like, man, we made the right decision on making him one of our captains, because he's always going to be, you know, even though he's not playing, he's going to keep uplifting us just by, you know, being around us and walking around Disneyland with us. Like, he's an inspiration everywhere he goes, on and off the field, and, you know, it's just great to have him on this trip.
is he, I mean, I can't think of a moment, like, obviously not the severity of the injury he went through, but, like, has he ever battled through anything like that this season or the past couple of seasons that you've seen with similar traits, or is this like a
Yeah,
level?
I mean, he's had this whole wrist thing going on ever since I got here, and, you know, never complains. And there's a multitude of little ticky-tack injuries that I'm sure he's dealing with or has dealt with, and you just never hear a peep out of him. So that just speaks to who he is and the grit that he carries with himself every day. Yeah.
I'm curious too, like, you grew up in Chicago, Big Ten football area.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the Big Ten, that map commercial when you were growing
What-
up? You know the map commercial with the Big Ten?
Yeah, of course.
You ever
Yeah.
watched that?
Yeah.
I'm writing a story about it. I'm curious, like, what do you think of that ad? I know it's become pretty iconic with our generation.
No doubt. I love it. It just gets you fired up for football. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, there's more sports that go into just the Big Ten as a whole, but I'm excited to see that map expand this next coming years and just going out to USC, UCLA, Oregon, all that good stuff. So it'll be a tradition that will grow and, you know, evolve into something great.
So you want them to add in the schools, not make a new ad?
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Yeah.
I was chatting with a couple of the animators yesterday for the story, and
Really?
they're looking into it, but they gotta find. They have like magnetic tapes that they record everything onto way
okay.
back in like 2013.
That's
They can't
pretty
find a machine to read it because it's so old. The
yeah.
technology, so they're working on it.
Okay, that's good.
We'll see, but
That's good stuff.
do you remember like the first time you watched the commercial at all, or is it too far over?
Actually, no, I do. It was I want to say I was young, like 5 or 6, and I was at my Nana's house and just sitting in the kitchen watching, Northwestern play because she was a huge Northwestern fan, living out in Evanston and all that most of her life. And yeah, it just gets you fired up for football, college football specifically, and the Big Ten.
As someone who, I don't know with best on basketball, how your drills exactly are set up, have you ever gone up against Cam Good in practice? I mean, I assume so.
Yes, yeah.
What's it like when he's kind of coming down as a defensive tackle and coming toward you? Like, what's it like seeing him out there? I know he's a goofy guy off the field.
Yeah, I love Cam. I got so much respect for him, just the way he carries himself, and the type of personality he is. He's a guy on the team that just like when the time is right, he locks in. But when somebody needs a laugh or somebody needs a joke, you always look to DJ Cam Good. And just in practice, whether he's not getting to me, he's always going to affect the play in some way because I've never had my balls tipped more than Cam has at the line of scrimmage. So yeah, he's a menace on the field for sure.
So he's a DJ too?
Yeah, well he calls himself DJ Cam Good. Yeah.
Does he ever bring in his mixtapes or anything into the locker room? Is that kept at home?
Yeah, I think it's kept at home. Yeah.
That's tough. Like, is there something about defensive tackles? Because I think Mason's a little goofy. Chris Jenkins super goofy.
Yeah.
Like, they just got that energy about him. Is that a D-tackle thing that you're aware of, or is it just the ones you guys recruit?
I guess. I mean, that's the ones that I'm aware of and the ones I've been around, even in high school. So I think you're onto something with that.
Yeah, even think like KG, same way, just
a
little bit goofy.
And all great guys, too. Yeah. All great guys, yeah.
All right, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Seeing you, brother. Have a good one. Hey, Fred.
Today we're here with Legendary son, J.J. McCarthy. You got a little intro you want to say, J.J.?
I really don't, no.
You really don't?
No.
All right, today's question of the day is, who on the team would you let date your daughter?
Definitely not you.
Whoa. Why not me?
Because you would be the first person I think of not letting
At least I'm a protector, though. Like.
I would say, yeah, for sure. I would say probably he. Yeah, I like he.
He haven't got recommended today. We got a lot of Jesse Madden.
Jesse Madden, he's definitely up there too. Yeah, always respectable.
Appreciate your time. I want to hold you up.
All right. Good morning. How we doing?
Okay, so I've heard from a few guys throughout the course of this week about the bus trip back from East Lansing.
Yeah.
What was it like when Coach Harbaugh started singing Requiem in Fitzgerald?
It was great. Just the entire vibe on the way home. It pretty much summed it up with Coach Harbaugh singing that song. Just everything we've been through, especially last year. Just having that camaraderie on the bus, it was truly like a moment to remember for the rest of my life.
Like, what percentage of guys actually knew the song? Like,
a lot of us.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of us. I personally don't know it as well. I'm not a Michigander, but he plays it all the time, like in our field house and stuff like that. Especially, coming up to the Ohio State game, that's kind of his thing because that's what he listened to before his big games and stuff like that. So it's definitely, a team theme song for sure.
I was talking to Mike just now. Having gone from offense to defense, when you're going against him in practice, do you see areas of his game where, okay, because of his offensive background, like that allows him to do certain things?
Yes, for sure. Like, for instance, he picked me off, I want to say, December 23rd before we left to go see our families. It was a high-low concept to the boundary, and he'll bait me to throw the over-the-top route by just like sinking down on the flat route and knowing I'm going to throw it. So he baits me pretty much telling me where to throw the ball because he knows the rules, he sees what's happening around him, and that's a special trait to have, just understanding the concept of the play and adapting to it and manipulating what the quarterback's going to do. So, of course. Have a good one.
What's up, JJ? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Jason, Yahoo Sports.
Got you. Nice to see you, Jason.
So first question, when you guys beat Ohio State,
Yeah.
most famous person you heard from, social media, on your phone?
I would say Tom and Wayne Gretzky. Yeah. So, yeah.
What did they say to you?
Just great job. Job's not finished yet, but they were proud of me, and it was just, focusing on getting to the next step.
This is the last, obviously, last 4-game playoff. Do you have any favorite memories from the last however many years? A single play, a player, a game?
I would say just going against Georgia and being able to, feel the hits of Clay Walker and Nakobe Dean and Nolan Smith, and being able to use that as a reference point of that was probably the best defense in the last 10 years of college football, and knowing that it can only get lower from there and easier from there. So just having that to always refer back to is great.
And when you guys found out you were playing Alabama, you guys were watching, what was the reaction, the team reaction, your reaction?
Yeah. I was just like, let's go. Like, what an opportunity, what a tremendous team to, put ourselves against and see what we're made of. A lot of the buzz out there was acting like we were scared and all this, but we were just shocked that Florida State didn't get in being 13-0. But, we're just excited for this opportunity. Thank you. Good seeing you. It's going good. How are you?
What's it like right now? 2 days back up in in front of that mic.
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
What's it been like right now? And we're at the Rose Bowl, 2 days away from the game. Just what do you guys feel right now?
Ultimate excitement, jumping out of our shoes. Sorry about that. Just enjoying every single moment, relishing in all the experiences that the Rose Bowl presented to us, and just, enjoying ourselves. We only get 9 days, I think, left with each other, and just being able to, appreciate every moment and take in every moment has been the biggest thing.
Yeah, what do you think about the last 2 years? Obviously, you guys, you're at the end of the playoff, you want to get over that hump, get to the national championship. How do you kind of use those past experiences to help you in this semifinal game?
Just learning from it, leading up to the preparation to the game, the execution during the game, all the little details that went wrong last year and the year before. We're just trying to fine-tune it as much as possible, and I feel like, having that wisdom is going to be one of the big key factors in this game.
JJ, I've got an off-color question for you.
Love it.
Your coach's chickens.
Yeah.
Have you been over and seen the coop at all?
I have, yeah.
All right, so what's your impression of it? Do chickens have names?
They probably do. I don't know the names, but just the coop is like a 5-star hotel for chickens. Yeah, it's really nice.
And your coach was right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
what's it like hearing him talk about his chickens? Is it like proud dad?
Yeah, it really is. And he talks about, playing with them in the yard and letting them out. It's like extended members of the family. It really treats it like, yeah.
Did it surprise you when you saw him interact with the chickens?
Not at all, because my uncle and aunt, they actually have chickens, and they interact with them the same way. So.
Are your aunt and uncle in Michigan as well?
Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have an uncle that has chickens in Michigan. And
Really?
He same thing, fell in love with them, and they're like his children now.
Yeah, I mean, they're producing great eggs every single day. That's what he said. So.
Have you tried the eggs?
I haven't tried his chicken's eggs, but I have tried real chicken eggs, and they're a lot better than the stores. That's for sure. Yeah. Of course.
Your favorite Harbaugh story, the chicken coop? I mean, as far as a funny, offbeat story?
There's too many to count. That's definitely up there, though. Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything he has said? I know he says a lot of different things, but that really struck you that as being particularly insightful, even if he's trying to be funny or not?
No, I think, whether it's perceived as funny or perceived as a joke, there's always deep wisdom behind it. And if you really think about it, the biggest thing for me that I heard from him this past year was what's good for the bee is good for the hive, and what's good for the hive is good for the bee. I think that just, resonates with not just football team, but it resonates with, an organization, whether it's in business, hospitals, anywhere. It just resonates. So that was really profound, and I'm going to be using that for the rest of my life.
Just don't get stung, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, have a good one. I mean, probably the best secondary I've seen in a long time. Just with Kool-Aid, with Terrion, with Jalen, with Caleb. I mean, even Deontay and Jihad, those guys are unbelievable. Just so fast, so technically sound, and just being able to get them in a bad situation is really tough. So, once you add that with the pass rush like they do, it's a tremendous defense. One of the best in the country, that's for sure.
Does Caleb look like a freshman on film? I know that's
No.
a weird question.
No, not at all. It just like I grew up like playing against his brother in 7-on-7.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and went to a couple camps with them. Great family, and you could just tell that the Downs they prepare for moments like these, and they always have a kind of step up on everyone just because of their preparation and the way they take care of their body, the way they attack every day, and it's just special to watch them on film because you just see it. The future's bright for him, and I can't wait to see where he goes.
We learned yesterday about the whole catapult thing and changing the being used on pads and stuff like that. As a quarterback who's going to do a lot of things, like how much did that change your preparation part of it?
Changed the convenience of it, but it really didn't, take any hours off.
Yeah.
It was just, adapting and overcoming that situation. The society we live in, you never know what's going on with all the hackers and all the data out there. So, yeah, it was just, adapt and overcome and keep pushing.
Do you get to watch film much with Coach Harbaugh?
Yeah, he's in the quarterback room almost every time he gets
What's
to.
that like? And is there anything that he keeps coming back to when you go and go to the tunnel?
Nothing really, he really keeps coming back to. Maybe just hitting the A-gaps more when running and escaping the pocket. But Coach Campbell does a tremendous job every single meeting and, really gets us dialed in. And so Coach Harbaugh doesn't really say too much, but he always sprinkles in some really good nuggets, of course.
I talked to Trevor yesterday, and he told me that last year he thought that you guys maybe overlooked TCU a little bit.
Yeah.
But this year he says with the new practice plan, he says this is the most prepared that you guys have been for a playoff game, a bowl game, anything. Would you agree that last year you overlooked TCU a little too much?
For sure, I completely agree. Myself personally, just saying on this day last year that it's going to be a smash fest, and that's all we do is smash and all that. Like, just unnecessary bulletin board material that doesn't make sense because they were a great football team, and we're just past 2 years we made a lot of mistakes, and we're learning from them and putting them into action this year.
Yesterday you said that you felt like you were ready for the NFL, but you also said that you had some stuff that you could come and work on.
Yeah.
This game, Roman said, was a money game, and he said that it could sway some of his NFL decisions when he starts thinking about it. Do you think that the same's true for you?
I feel like every game's a money game, just different levels of intensity. But I just feel like, I'm not worried about the NFL. I'm not worried about what could happen after the fact. I'm just worried about, executing the first play at hand, executing, practice today, and the rest will take care of itself.
Does this one feel bigger? Obviously, the 2 straight college football playoffs, but this one's the Rose Bowl, it's Alabama. Does this one feel a little bigger?
Definitely. Naturally, you kind of feel that. But at the end of the day, it's just 2 teams going out there and deciding who's going to execute better each and every play. Yeah, no problem.
Have you taken time to reflect on your personal journey from the Chicago suburbs, the Rose Bowl, and to the NFL? What does this whole ride been like for you?
I haven't really had time to reflect just because I'm so focused on, the task I'm doing and where I'm trying to go. So, one day I'll look back and, reflect on it and watch the highlights and, maybe reminisce with the grandkids. But right now I'm busy working and I'm only focused on getting better.
What's it like having Blake Corum back after not being able to play the last time you were?
Extremely huge. He's a keystone to our football team, and just being out there and actually being able to make an impact on the game is going to be huge for us because, like I said, he's a keystone for our offense, keystone for our football team, and it's a blessing to have him back.
Keystone for your offense, Zach Center went down during the Ohio State game. What does it take from the locker room to be able to lift up into your guys, play in their place, and know what they're doing?
It takes a lot, but I think what you saw from us right after that happened and Blake scoring that touchdown is, our whole mentality is next man up. Football is a dangerous game, and things like that happen. It's so unfortunate, but you always have to be ready to move on, have that goldfish memory, and just attack the next play.
There's IMG Academy guys all over the country. Do you have relationships with any of the ones like Todd or I think there's 5 over there?
Yeah, J.C. Latham, Tyler Booker, Ja'Cory Brooks. That was on. We were on the national championship team at IMG, and that's always a special bond when you win something like that. And just great human beings. I can't wait to see them. Just dap them up before the game. They got a little bigger since I saw them last time, but just can't wait to see the boys.
Do you keep up with them at all? Just like talking throughout the season?
Not as much, but I'm always watching. You know, always whenever I turn on the Alabama game, I'm always looking for those guys and seeing how their pass setting now and seeing if that weight's, you know, making them a little slower. But it's not at all. They've only gotten bigger, better, and stronger. And you know, I can't wait to see them.
Do you have any stories about just playing with those guys, being on the championship team?
I just go back to when we were at IMG and, you know, just the amount of fun we had just shooting hoops together. And we weren't really allowed to just because our coach was paranoid of us getting hurt. But those guys could shoot. So a lot of 2-ball games and, you know, it was a lot of fun. Yeah. Great seeing you.
J.J., when you have this much time to prepare, do you think it makes it easier or harder to stay locked in for the game?
It depends. You know, I feel like with a schedule, that could really determine that, and I feel like we did a really good job of learning from our mistakes the last 2 years and adapting to a schedule that suits us, and that's going to make sure that we don't, you know, get that paralysis by overanalysis, and we're mentally and physically just fresh going into the game.
Yeah. Anything like that you guys changed in particular on that schedule that you think's going to help you out this year?
Not as many full padded practices where we're really going at it because, you know, going through 13 weeks of college football, like guys are banged up and guys are, you know, dealing with these ticky-tack injuries, so you don't want to stress them even more. So that's been huge for us, and getting more walk-through time and just little stuff like that, that's going to help.
Are you like at this point overwatching film? Like you feel like you kind of see it all?
Never overwatching because, you know, I don't like to leave any stone unturned. You know, I'm going back to 2016 and 2017, watching Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence go at it. But it's just, you know, you never want to get too, you know, overthinking with your game plan and how you could attack them. It's more just like looking at little intricate details and dissecting those things.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Of course. Have a good one. Thank you.
J.J. got a pretty cool shot right here with the trophy right there in the background.
That's a neat
I know
shot.
you're big on meditation and visualization and all that stuff. How do you balance staying in the moment and, you know, being where you're at? You guys have said that all year, but also, like, have you pictured yourself holding that thing up and just what it would be like to win this game?
I felt like just the habits that I've developed over the years, staying in the moment, has become pretty effortless now. And just being able to appreciate every moment and, you know, being here is just a tremendous opportunity. But, you know, the visualization and the manifestation definitely plays a huge role into it. You know, dreamed about holding that trophy, dreamed about, you know, biting that rose. And I won't even touch a rose until we get the opportunity to, you know, bite into it after a great win. So, yeah.
They're all over the place. And I think they've even been using them as props. Are you really, like, not touching them at all?
Yeah, like, this is the only thing, you know. This is the closest I'll come to it. That's it. That's the closest I'll come to it.
I've asked a couple other guys, you know, sometimes it's Blake for 3 or 4 touchdowns, and Colston scored 2 in the game. You've run them in before. What do you think Alabama's scouting report looks like for you guys? Who's where? I mean, who are they focusing on? If you were on the other side of it, who are you talking about with your guys' team?
You know, I think to understand that Colston is a mismatch, you know, I feel like they're going to have some of their better cover guys like, you know, Malachi Moore and Caleb Downs on him all game, not putting a linebacker on him. I feel like they're going to try to do the best they can to make sure that I stay in the pocket and don't get out. Yeah, and then they're just going to do what they do. They've been doing it for a very long time and obviously been successful at it, so they're just going to go out there and do the same thing we're doing and try to attack us in every which way.
Colston had a good answer, and, you know, not surprisingly, you guys have embraced the team mentality. He was like, cool, double me, that means somebody else is probably open or whatever. You know,
Right.
Is that, how is that, I mean, he's a star player, he can put up huge numbers maybe at another, like, how does that happen? Like, it seems to be throughout the whole team. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, because the entire team only cares about winning. And, you know, like Colston said, if he's getting doubled, that just leaves a mismatch or a better opportunity somewhere else, and that's all that matters. So, you know, whether it's, you know, Colston, Blake, you know, any of the guys on offense, just unselfish players, especially on defense too. So,
You've spent some time in California, right, doing some training and stuff. How's the week been so far? I mean, being back, I know it's not home, but you've been here quite a bit, maybe more than some of the other guys.
Yeah, it's been really good. You know, obviously it's a beautiful place, and just having the opportunity to see roses around the hotel all the time on the buses, it's, you know, just an extreme blessing. And yeah, just focused on, attacking meetings, attacking practice every day, fueling our bodies to the absolute T, and getting as much rest and recovery as possible. Thank you. Great seeing you.
Manifestation is part of your journey.
Yeah.
Do you think you would consider that to be like the foundation, the thing that got you into the space? I mean, you're about to play against the road time,
Yeah.
like the Rose.
Yeah.
Do you think manifestation played a big part of growing up?
No doubt. I feel like, growing up, I wasn't as aware of it and the power of it, of, manifestation and intention. But, once I dived deeper into it and really started doing more research and, seeing that other people do the same thing and other people experience the same things, it just only, motivates me more to keep that routine, keep building up that foundation.
What's one thing you would tell a high school player right now who's admiring you guys and wants to be in this position? What's one thing you would tell them?
I would tell them that, everyone sees our fame and success and all the things we've done this year, but it didn't come easy. There's a price to be paid for all of this, and you'd rather, deal with the pain of discipline than the pain of regret. And we deal with it every single day, and we choose to because there's a choice.
Price of pain.
Yes, the price of pain. Yes, of course.
How do you balance the pain of discipline with the pain of regret? You talked a little bit ago right here about the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So, and you talked about before about throwing things into the water.
Yeah.
So, as you know, to get philosophical of the duality, yin and yang, the balance. How do you balance, the bad things that happen in the past moving forward and not letting them happen again?
Yeah, I feel like, you really can't have these opportunities of getting back here and being able to execute the way we want to execute without going through that bad stuff. So I feel like everything happened for a reason for the last 2 years, and it just refined and polished all the imperfections that we had this past year, and just being able to make sure that like you said, dealing with that pain of discipline, waking up and fueling your body the right way, going to sleep at the right time, all the little things that kind of get overlooked. And especially in a week like this where there's a lot going on and guys are pulled in all these different directions, making sure you take care of yourself, take care of your body, because that's something I feel like we didn't do the last 2 years.
So last year in the Scottsdale, I asked you about some like philosophical stuff you share on like Instagram.
Yeah.
It's always positive.
Yeah.
And it could be, from a few hundred years ago, it could be some current dude.
Yeah.
Is there any quotes that you've been gravitating towards recently or just any philosophers? Which we talked about last year, could be a musician, could be a poet, whatever. Is there anybody or any quotes that kind of been resonating with you?
I would say Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, Coach Harbaugh.
What's Jim got going on?
He keeps going back to this quote, what's good for the hive is good for the bee, and what's good for the bee is good for the hive. I just feel like that resonates so much in society, not just with the football team. And, being able to really put yourself, put the team first and realizing that's the best thing for yourself at the same time is so hard for people to get over that mental barrier. But once you start doing it, once you start seeing the effects, it's a tremendous thing.
And lastly, Jack was saying, Tuttle was saying a little bit ago that since last year, a few hundred days now, Schembeck or Houston or bust.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
That's just the goal we set out for ourselves, and that's the goal that the entire state of Michigan and all the Michigan fan base expects us to achieve. So that was just something as a reminder every single day, like, hey, this is where we want to go. What are you doing today to get there? And what are you doing today to prepare yourself and not leave with that regret and not get to that point?
Alabama-Michigan isn't a traditional rivalry, but your rivalry with Ohio State and Alabama's rivalry with Auburn are two of the probably predominant rivalries in the sport.
Yeah.
Which one's better and why?
I can't speak for their rivalry because I haven't been in it, but the Ohio State rivalry is like no other. It's one of the best in sports in general, just like theirs is, and it's just speaks to college football as a whole and just the traditions that have been carried on through years and years and years, and can't wait to keep carrying them on.
It's been an emotional season, but where did you play with more emotion? That Penn State game after the Harbaugh suspension or the Ohio State game? What was more emotional for you?
I think the Penn State game was, probably more emotional just because of everything that went down the day before the game. But, both played with an extreme amount of emotion and trying to,
channel that and calm us down has been, you know, the focal point of every single game. But yeah, I would say the Penn State game.
Last one I have. When you think of Coach Samuel, I know you grew up watching Alabama football.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that pops in your mind when you see that guy?
Just legendary. I mean, he's considered, if not the best college football coach of all time, and just being able to, you know, look across the sideline and see a guy like that coaching a team like that, it's a tremendous opportunity, and I just have so much respect for his mindset and the way he looks at life, the way he coaches a football team, and yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you. Good luck.
Of course. Have a good one.
John W. Davis over here with the Orange County Red. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Nice to talk to you. Question for you. In my mind, Michigan football, when they have championship level success, it's synonymous with the Rose Bowl. With that said, did you ever think that you would make it to a Rose Bowl game with the way everything is set up now?
I did not, to be honest with you, just because with the college football playoff, I never thought it would be at the Rose Bowl. Always, you know, just had this feeling that we were going to be playing for a championship every single year, but I didn't expect it to be here, and it's a tremendous blessing, tremendous opportunity.
So what does it mean to you then, with that said, like the history that, you know, last time the national championship is here?
Yeah, I mean, it's been 26 years, so it means a whole lot to a lot more people than just myself, and it's a tremendous honor to be able to play in this game and play for the state of Michigan, play for, you know, all the fans out there that are just cheering us on along the whole way.
And because of our weather, you get a chance to practice at SoFi Stadium today. What is that going to mean to you, a person who, I mean, at some point I'm sure you want to play in the NFL, so what is it going to be like to practice at a stadium where not only one but two teams play?
Yeah, it'll be really cool, really cool. I mean, just alone, the stadium's absolutely beautiful, so being able to take in all of that. And yeah, just can't wait to go out there and execute, though. You know, the stadium's great, but can't wait to focus on the play at hand and just, you know, do our best to make sure we polish out all the imperfections of it.
Will it also mean a little bit to you that, you know, you get to go to that stadium now because, like, last year, that's where the championship game was going to be at?
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, unfortunate. This is the first time we're going there, but, you know, we'll just be focused on getting better at practice and locking in on all the little details.
What do you do between now and Monday to finish preparing? I just talked to Mason, and he said, you know, you're constantly preparing at this point, and Blake kind of mentioned that, and Mason did as well, that you're kind of ramping down the contact, taking a little different approach this year, but the mental preparation is still the same or more.
Yeah, I think the physical preparation dials down a little bit, but the mental preparation dials up. And, you know, just being in the film room with Coach Campbell, Coach Harbaugh, all the QBs, and, you know, just making sure there's no stone unturned and dialing in all the little details of the game plan and making sure we have the best, you know, attack strategy to go out there and win on Monday.
I mean, is this a situation where you literally, like, you know, stay up a little bit and you're on your iPad or your phone and you're just going over things by yourself and getting the mental preparation and things like that on your own as well?
Yes, no doubt. You know, I've been trying to get, you know, a good amount of sleep, but like last night I was up till probably 1:30 just watching film, just, you know, rewriting notes, rewriting, you know, game plans and stuff like that. So it's, you know, a struggle to balance, you know, rest and, you know, just preparing. But yeah, just making sure that there's no stone unturned by Monday.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like an opportunity we just don't want to miss, right?
Yes, sir. You know it.
JJ, in your quarterback room, what does Alex bring to the room and the whole group?
You know, it's what Alex brings to the team. You know, he's a special human being, but an incredible athlete. And just having his positive energy, like, all the time, and just having his skill set on the offensive side of the ball, he's a really dangerous weapon.
And he's been given the look for Milroe, I've heard in practice.
Yeah.
I know you're not, you know, with him with the twos, but have you heard any kind of stories about how he's jigging the defense, throwing deep or anything like that?
Yeah, I watch it actually.
Yeah,
we split, and offense will go, and then the defense will go, and just it's really special watching him because he just, like, he'll set up and just launch the ball on the run like 65 yards, and that's something that Jalen can do. So being able to have that look is an extremely great thing for our defense.
So JJ, talk about as far as the excitement and enthusiasm, all the festivities that you guys have participated in. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. You know, a tremendous opportunity to be able to, you know, be here and, you know, do all these fun things. But at the end of the day, we're having the most fun watching film, you know, fueling our bodies and getting the rest that we need because we know the task at hand and we're just trying to keep the main thing the main thing.
Talk about living a dream. Where in your lifetime did you imagine you'd be at this level performing?
I always had the end goal of, going to the NFL and being successful in the NFL, but I never really, envisioned the things in between. And just being able to, stay in the moment and appreciate everything that comes my way has been my main thing. And, it's just only getting better and better. So I'm going to continue down that track.
What is your inspiration in life? What has caused you to become great as you have become? Whether it be a person, whether it be an athlete, your faith.
Yeah, I just feel like it's always been God at the center, and just this internal drive in me. Inspiration you could grab from everywhere, and it could be temporary at times, but this drive that has been inside of me, it only keeps igniting more and more. And I'm just doing everything I can to pull inspiration from everywhere in the world to keep that fire lit.
What would you say to all your friends and family?
I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support, and we're doing this for you, the state of Michigan, for each other, and it's going to be a fun one, so tune in.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Jim keeps saying that this is the team, right? Like that's what, one of the phrases he used. I guess, when did you've seen the last three, was there a practice, was there a moment? I'm asking different guys, when was that moment when you realized this is, or could be the team?
Probably right when we started winter workouts this past off season. Just seeing the mentality and the vibe of the team, and just the urgency and the attention to detail that we all carried into that off season with. It was just something different, something special. It wasn't like any of the years before, because that's where championships are going to be won, is going into that off season, going through spring ball, going through fall camp. So I just knew from the get-go it was going to be different.
Right. And I guess, who sets the tone with the transfer portal and all, and a lot of teams, different people are going different places. Obviously, you had the one more year fun, guys coming back, and just who sets the tone of actual team camaraderie, not just saying team camaraderie, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a collective effort. It's really everyone. The team camaraderie doesn't start with just our captains or myself or any like individual or clique of people. It's a true brotherhood. It's a true 144 player leader type of team. So everyone just coming together and just dominating each and every day and enjoying every single day. That's where I feel like it's satisfying. Of course, good seeing you.
JJ, do you feel any type of pressure of being a quarterback on the #1 team in the country?
No, because this is everything that I've asked for, everything that I envisioned as a kid. And I feel like just the preparation that I put into on the day-to-day basis, there's no pressure at all, because the work that I put in, the work that my teammates put in, and just the reliability that I have in my coaches, it's everything that puts the pressure off me, for sure.
Does the preparation change for you week by week, or is it pretty much the same?
It's pretty much the same, but with more time off, the preparation just amps up a little bit more, and just more time to leave no stone unturned.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned going through this journey, this season?
I would say just enjoy every single moment, good or bad, because every single moment's individual and unique, and something you can never get back, and you can always learn from each moment. And I feel like going through this entire year, everything that's happened with coach, everything that's happened with all the just noise or outside of what was going on in the building, there's just so many valuable lessons that I took in. I really can't pick one, but just appreciating every single one, good or bad.
The last question I wanted to ask is, how do you blank out all the outside noise when it comes to performing?
Just keeping things simple, focusing on the task at hand, staying in the present moment, and just trying to dial in on all the little things, because if you're so focused on the little things, you can't think about the big things, and you won't have time to think about those things. So just always focus on my daily routine and keeping it simple, and just staying in the moment ultimately at the end of the day. Thank you.
I just talked to Kirk, and he said that the past few weeks from you is the most focused quarterback he's ever seen. He said how great you ball. Do you feel like this is the best you've been in your life?
Yes, right, no doubt. I feel like it is, just because I'm a full believer, and you get better or you get worse, and I've just been trying. You never stay the same. Exactly. Yes. So I feel like just everything that happened throughout the last 15 years of my life playing football has all led up to this moment to forge me into the best player I can possibly be.
course.
JJ, what's those are saying that he's sort of joking that he's a steel wall. What's a steel wall look like inside the locker room when you guys are around practice? You always respect.
The same guy every single day. You know, that's so hard for people to, you know, keep the consistency on a day-to-day basis, and he never flinches. You know, no matter what comes his way, no matter what allegations he has to face, he's the same guy. And I have so much respect for that, and just being able to look at that every single day, it really is just like invaluable.
So has he said that to you guys a lot? He's a steel wall. Because Mike was saying he's like whatever he said.
Oh yeah,
steel wall, right?
No doubt. Whether it's, you know, hate, whether it's viruses, he's just a steel wall that blocks everything out. But he has mentioned that he's also, I think he said a filter, just negative energy, and then just goes through him and he passes out in positive energy. So yeah, he's steel wall and a filter in positive energy.
Bama's defense right quick. As you've watched tape not necessarily just this year, but over the last few years, running quarterbacks, guys who can scramble or mobile, have given them trouble. Have you noticed that? Anything like that as you sort of delve into their tape defensively?
For sure, yeah. That's you know, any great defense you play, just having that ability when, you know, because you're not going to be in the right play every single play. And just being able to get out of that and get those 6 yards, get those 4 yards, always making it a positive play are huge at the end of the day. And, you know, it's a tremendous defense that's fast, can fly around, so work's going to be cut out for us, and especially me when I'm outside on the perimeter. It's definitely going to go down.
Too bad after you guys won the Big Ten title.
Yeah.
Florida State. Were you thinking at that point it was going to be you guys were going to play Florida State? Did you have a feel either way?
I assume so, but, you know, never go into anything with expectations because, you know, then you're only setting yourself up for disappointment. But I just felt like, you know, the committee did their thing. I'm not going to question them. But yeah, definitely, you know, assumed that it was going to be Florida State.
Have you put yourself in Florida State's position at all? Did you just say you guys
Have I put myself in their position?
Like you guys were in the Big Ten, been unbeaten, and then
Yeah, it would be extremely unfortunate just being able to, you know, win every single game, do everything that was asked of you, and then not get the opportunity to go win it all. Yeah, it stinks, but, you know, next year nobody's going to have that issue when it goes to the 12-team playoffs, so they got the short end of the stick, and, you know, it's just unfortunate sometimes. That's life. Of course. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
JJ, how do you, much do you think Alabama's defense has changed since
yeah, I would say every single week, you know, watching tape from week 1 to week 13, you really saw like the mistakes that were made in week 1 were not made in week 2, and just so on and so on. So that just speaks to how well coached they are, and you know, just everything about Nick Saban and what he preaches. Of course.
JJ, what gives you confidence going into this game? A couple tough losses in the last couple playoffs Michigan has been in. What gives you confidence facing this team?
Having those losses as learning lessons, and you know, the wisdom of, you know, just everything that we did. How can we do it different? How can we, you know, adapt and do things better? I feel like it's just invaluable, and you know, you have to go through the hard times in order to experience the good. And yeah, I just felt like we got a whole different approach to this one, and you know, it feels really good so far.
Everyone has a perception of him.
Very different. You know, obviously coming in, you know, the media has this perception of him, and that's the only thing I could really see, and that's the only thing everyone outside of Sembecker Hall could really see. So I was thinking, you know, he's going to be talking about drinking my milk and, you know, eating my chicken, or not eating my chicken, and little stuff like that, where it's like you see him on a day-to-day basis. You see how much he loves football. You see how much he wants to be a part of it, and how much he loves us as literally as kids. And like, that's for real. And just being able to have a coach like that, it's you know, invaluable. It really is. It was very relatable. You know, you can tell that he's been recruited before, and you know, obviously been a quarterback being recruited, and just, you know, not really, you know, the car salesman type of feel from him. It was just a guy who loves football and a guy who wants to, you know, win football games, and he really made it evident that he thinks I'm the guy for him that can win football games.
It seems like, obviously winning his last Jordan, it seems like he's a little more, kind of a player's coach. I've not heard Michigan players 5 years ago talk about the way you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Obviously success makes everything happen.
For sure.
How has he kind of become that player's coach? How
you guys brought that up?
I feel like he's done a tremendous job of just observing, how the players are feeling and adapting to, what the players feel, as long as, as well as not changing some of his ways that he holds his hat on for as many years as he's been coaching. So I feel like he's just been a lot more open-minded and a lot more, open to change and, just doing everything for the players.
J.J., sorry, I have to ask this. Taylor Swift made a big splash in the NFL.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Taylor Swift song?
Not really. I don't listen too much to Taylor Swift, but I obviously respect, who she is and everything she's done for, the music industry and her whole journey. So, just a lot of respect for her as a person, as a songwriter, as a performer, all that.
What is in your headphones pregame?
A lot of Bob Marley, just getting into that, peaceful, calming state, and a lot of, frequencies that kind of dial in my physiology and dial in, my brain waves and all that.
Frequencies, is that on Spotify?
Mostly YouTube. That's kind of where I go to for them, but there's different apps out there that can, set certain things up for you. Of course.
You talked a lot about kind of this is where you dreamed you would be as a kid. This is everything's led up to this. What can you say about growing up in Big Ten country and being in the Rose Bowl, but also still being able to play like a kid almost out there on one of the biggest stages in sports?
That's what it is. You said it exactly. It's going out there and playing like you did in the backyard. Obviously, there's more, details. There's obviously naturally more pressure and stuff like that, but it's just going out there having fun and trying to execute, just like I was trying to execute that deep go ball to my dad when I was younger. So, yeah.
For sure. And J.J., you talked a lot about mental preparation. Does that change for a game of this size or the same all season?
It's the same all season. I feel like I would be doing myself a disservice if, I wasn't doing everything I can on a week-to-week basis. How I prepare to play Alabama is the same way I would prepare if I was playing the Girl Scouts. It really doesn't matter, and it's just fine-tuning things and polishing out things that haven't really worked for me in the past. Hey, babe.
I just learned this magic trick.
Yeah.
Tell you what to stop.
Stop.
Make a card. Show everybody. See it?
Yeah.
Just learn this one. Pop her down. Alright. So now while everybody sees the card, you gotta ask everybody, tell everybody what your favorite suit is and why.
What my favorite suit is? Probably the heart, just because love is the most powerful thing in the world.
Sorry, I can't hear you from back there.
A heart?
Okay. Why?
Just because love is one of the most powerful things in the world.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your favorite suit?
Diamonds.
Why's that?
Love diamonds. Shine bright.
There we go. What's yours?
Heart for everything J.J. just said.
I can see that, for sure. So here's the thing. I learned this about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So now, okay, have it back, please. So,
okay.
you're going to tell everybody right now what your card was.
Okay. Right now?
Yep.
9 of hearts.
9 of hearts?
Yeah.
I don't know if I got that. All right. Is that it? All right. Is that it?
No.
All right. That's got to be it.
Let's see what you're doing here.
Is that it?
That's it, dude. That's tremendous. You learned that 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You executed it flawlessly.
You see it?
Yeah. I don't really have New Year's resolutions just because I feel like mine are pushed back to the springtime just because I feel like, just the way the earth works and just the seasonal changes and everything like that. Everything grows in the spring. I feel like that's when you start those New Year's resolutions.
What's one rule from another sport that you add to football?
I don't know if it's from. Oh yeah, in hockey you can't tip the puck. Like you can't use your stick above your waist to tip the puck. I feel like defensive linemen shouldn't be able to tip balls at the line of scrimmage.
Alright, what's your top artist on Spotify?
Bob Marley.
Alright, what's one famous one from Michigan you'd like to hang out with?
Definitely Tom. We talked over text and all that, but it would be great to just chop it up.
If you're planning a theme for a bowl game, what would it be?
A theme?
Like the Pop-Tart Bowl?
You do any theme.
I would say the Headspace Bowl.
Can you give us an impression of one of your coaches?
I don't want to do that, because I would mess it up.
Thank you.
That'd be a good one.
With J.J., you don't think defensive linemen should be able to raise their hands and let their shoulders?
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think so.
How much traction that could get?
I remember I took it from Peyton Manning. He talked about it on the Manning cast and all that, and I was just like, yeah, that should definitely be a rule.
All right, for the 500th time, how are you injury-wise, health-wise?
100%. I'd say even 120%.
In this game a year ago, you had, at least yardage-wise, your career game. What do you and your teammates take away from really the last 2 years to get to this spot again?
Just, all the little details that show up in a big game like this. You could have a great game like I did last year, but those 2 interceptions, that could just be the cost of it. So, just making sure that we're locked in on each and every play and just trying to execute without, making it easier on them.
A win is a win is a win, but Penn State you threw 8 times. Game plan, conditions, opponent dictated that.
Yeah.
What was that like for a quarterback?
It's tough because you want to be able to contribute to the team as much as you possibly can, but it's accepting my role, doing what the coach is asking me, and getting the win at the end of the day is all that matters. So I'll just do whatever they want as long as it leads to a victory.
What's it like being a Michigan quarterback when you walk through campus, or are all your classes online?
Yeah, I have a couple classes online, a couple classes in person, but I think of myself just as the student next to me that's aspiring to be a world-renowned doctor, the student that's trying to be an astronaut. Just we're all human beings at the end of the day, just doing different things and having different passions, and it's really great to be at a school like that because they respect that, they understand that, and they think of me the same way as I think of myself, just another human being. Thank you so much.
JJ, off camera, why do you think your coach will be back? He's gotten to that stage.
Yeah.
Why will he be back?
I mean, it's cherry pie, apple pie. It's both great choices to make, and I feel like he's going to do whatever he can to make the best decision for him. And, he just loves the school so much. There's so much tradition here just for himself alone. So that's the one thing I can see just keeping him back.
I asked Trevor this just now. If you guys win,
Yeah.
Could you blame him?
No, I shouldn't blame him because he's a competitor, and just having a national championship here and beyond a Super Bowl, I could see him just trying to get that and finish his career off in the sunset. Yeah.
Trevor said he was like, I do know that obviously losing to his brother and winning a Super Bowl, that whatever the word is, he wants to do that.
Yeah.
And that's the next level.
Right, exactly. Yeah, of course.
JJ, the Rose Bowl patches on the shoulders.
Yeah.
You like them?
Oh, I love them. Super sweet. Just one of those office pieces later in life that are just going to be invaluable.
And then your decision after the year, obviously you said you don't know yet, but how much will it play into what other guys like Donovan and your boys, what they do? Will you play into each other with like Trevor and Zach?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously there's going to be a multitude of factors, and I could say that's going to be one of them.
Thanks, man.
Good seeing you, Clayton.
Yeah. Good seeing you, man. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
JJ, walking off that Fiesta, just saw that quick. Walking off that field at the Fiesta Bowl last year, how did that change you as a quarterback?
I would say it just ignited that internal drive in me just even more. Just being able to, sit there and, sulk in that pain, sulk in that regret,
is, you know, something that, you know, a lot of people overlook as something that's bad, but to me it's amazing because, you know, it's been a reference point throughout the entire off season when, you know, I'm waking up early and I really don't want to get out of bed, but you just think back to that point, you think back to that feeling, and it's ultimately something that, you know, pushes me to be my best and you know, just really attack every day with, you know, just that drive that's unknown to mankind.
Guys seem a little looser this year compared to last year. Do you get that sense heading into this one?
Definitely, it's a loose focus. You know, we're focused, but you know, I feel like we're just a lot more mentally and physically refreshed.